Welcome to Jobs Again, just occupations beyond scope. We hanging out with the manager now, Stokely Phillips, CHEE Mooke Bakery. All you witness the hops bread making thing?
Yeah, this is basically intermission, halftime.
Yeah.
We're just checking back with the supervisor, the manager of the branch, the owner. How we did so far?
So far, so good. You're all impressed, but you still have a long way to go.
A long way?
Yeah, I think we just 1/3 through the production.
Approximately what time it is now?
About that time.
It's about 2. I guess at the rate that we're going, we will finish early, maybe about 5:30.
He said early and he said 5:30.
No, this is not 5:30 p.m. These fellas working hours start from since 11:30 the following day. Oh, the previous day I should say. So what's next on the agenda?
Right now we're going to start off making coconut bakes. And one of the skills involved is something called chaffing. It's a dyeing skill.
That's when it's gritty coconut to make the bake. That's when we're talking about chaffing.
Chaffing is simply making a dough in a round form, elastic, and getting a texture that you need to further process it.
Chaffing.
Chaffing.
I think it comes from
the word chaff.
No, it comes from the word chauffer, from French, meaning to rub.
Rub, chauffer.
So you have to rub the dough.
Well, you will see what it's not simply rubbing, it's actually molding it into a certain shape. In fact, the machine that you taped earlier on, the multi-mat making hops, that chaffing process is something that they've been able to catch inside of that machine.
Wow.
Because it is a skill that is dying, and that machine does 10,000 an hour, and you can't possibly do that by hand.
So, in an hour by hand, you estimate we do about 3?
No, well, you see, you could do much. I could do maybe about 60 a minute.
So let me ask you this. You say the machine simulating a dyeing skill. Between the machine and a human being, who able to do it better?
Could Gary Kasparov beat deep blue? Impossible. The machine is much more faster. You don't get tired. You don't need to go to the toilet.
But in terms of the end product, if you have one roll of dough here, another roll of dough here, human and machine, which one is?
The mix is human, so it is identical to the human as well.
Wow, so you heard it. So we're going on chaff right now. Chaffing, right? Chaffing is the word, but it came from not shaft, it came from an next word.
Well, I mean, the sort of baking skills in Trinidad are supposed to have come through the Germans. The Germans may be French. Most likely the French, since we're French, French heritage.
But remember, folks, CHEE Mooke Bakery has been around since 1831.
1931.
19.
I was a whole extra.
I was just trying to.
Yes.
Because I'm thinking Stokely was around when the independence was a little track. You know. All right. Push on the two sides. So we're gonna do some chaffing right
David,
now.
we're gonna do some chaffing. After these messages, we'll be shafting.
Say to the man, say chaffing is so. What are you doing that? It's so. We'll see it like that.
CHEE Mooke Bakery. I sure I eating fresh bread daily. CHEE Mooke Bakery. Man, they make it nice and tasty. CHEE Mooke Bakery. I eating fresh bread daily. That's the bakery for me. CHEE Mooke.
Well, all right. Behind us is a room. Looks like a room, but this is the oven. Now, understand what I'm saying. We're in a bakery. We've been making bread all morning long. But that one man had to come to work at 2 o'clock in the morning to put the bread in this room. What's special about that? Boy, I don't know. Me the baker. Baker, say your name now.
Trevor.
Trevor, tell me what's so unique about your job here.
I want to know why.
Yeah. What's so special about you, from them?
Travis and Mr.
Stokely and
you want to know why it is? No, it's basically you put in the oven.
I could have pushed that in the oven.
We can put it in.
I can push that in the oven. I can just take it and just push it in the oven.
But they said no. So just explain to the people as viewing why are you so important?
It's about taking all the heat and making sure the bread baked properly and the right color and everything for the customers. So that's why I come in there. So to handle the paste now, because we just go there at that pace. So you need to need somebody fast to bake all them bread in time to get for 5:30.
So when they said so Travis is not able to do that?
Nah, even because he's the one to mix and make sure I get all the bread to bake in time.
And Mr. Stokely wouldn't be able to do that either?
Yeah, he could do it too. Yeah.
He could do it too.
Yeah, but he's the boss.
But
he's the
you are
boss.
the designated.
Yeah, he's the boss. That's
The
why
man
he
to
employed
push
me.
in the oven. So he's the designated pusher man in the oven?
Yeah, the oven man itself.
The oven man himself.
Alright, well, let's see you do
Alright, let's see you do your thing.
Right, and then you close it up and let it bake for 25 minutes.
Alright.
25 minutes. Bread ready to eat.
So you say is about the correct color. Correct?
And make sure it don't burn.
Make sure it don't burn. Now there's no glass.
Nah.
So how you gonna know it's not the correct color or it's been
I
burned?
know about 25 minutes to open the oven.
Or you open it out to check it.
Check that.
So that heat that's jumping out on your shoulders, on your chest and your face, you going to face that.
Yeah, well, yeah, I accustomed to it, so that is something I don't like to be in the heater, because that is not easy. So that is something I feel like to be in the heat.
Dele, let's not question this gentleman's shop. That's the baker, and within 25 minutes, we will be eating whole wheat cups.
Burgers.
Whole wheat burgers. You can see my hands, right? Look like I'm working in a mechanic shop. No boy, I'm working in the bakery. I was putting dough in a machine. Dele, let me see your hand. Dirty.
But I washed my hands, so
So you get water?
Yes, I got water. You didn't get water?
Dan, when I come back, I'll have clean hands.
See, let me show you where the pipe is. Right? Let me show you where the pipe is. Went to wash his hands. So I came back to Mr. Phillips because I know some of you all were wondering where are the pastries in a big bakery like this. And Mr. Stokely just explained to me that it was done since yesterday. Why is that? Why was this done since yesterday and not tonight?
Well, pastries notoriously take a lot of time to prepare, produce. You can imagine in this thin layer here, you have this thin layer of pastry, you have maybe almost 200 layers. That's how it gets flaky, because it's
200 layers in this one.
Dozens and dozens of layers. That's how it's done. It's a laminating machine. And because it takes that time to prepare that and the dough, we may not get stuff on time for 5:30 when we open.
Okay.
So it's done in advance, frozen, and then taken out couple hours before, thawed out, and then baked.
Does that method apply to all these pastries here on this rack?
Yeah. Everything here.
So this here as well is 200.
Just about 200 layers of dough, fat alternating. That's how each layer baked separately. The fat melts into the dough, and then you have this flaky pastry that comes out afterwards.
And this long guy here looking like a Subway sandwich.
That's the same dough, but it's just rolled up. This has, I think it has currants, there's one with coconut, there's one with fruit. Currant roll, and then it's sliced afterwards diagonally.
So folks, this is currant roll in its raw format. After it is baked, it is sliced and then fit for consumption. What I am interested in is CHEE machine that rolls 200 of these layers. This, and the rest. So we're going to cross with that machine to see what is this marvelous piece of wood. So we are here inside the pastry room. This is the amazing machine that I was talking about. And Mr. Phillips is going to take us through the process of what's going to happen here. I don't see any electrics hook up to this one. Alright, I was wrong. There is electrics. So this is the machine that does what?
it's called a reversible sheeter. And what it in fact does, as I said before with the multi-mat, they have these skills that over the years people less and less are able to do. This machine duplicates a rolling pin.
Alright, this is a nice thing to have home when I'm making coconut.
They have smaller versions of this. This is not very big, but it's fairly big. So, and all it does is flattens the dough. So each successive pass through the machine, it moves it down a little bit.
I'm looking at the dial here. These numbers indicates what?
Indicate the distance of the aperture, the distance between the two rollers. That's it.
So I'm seeing between 1 to 30.
I think those are millimeters.
It's millimeters. So there's from 1 to 30 here on this dial, which means if this is millimeters, that is 30 millimeters down to 1 millimeter. For those of you who don't know metric too well, that is just a little bigger than your fingernail in size. This is amazing. This is amazing. I'm buying one for Christmas. No idea if it is, but I'm buying one for Christmas. And this butter that's on top here, this is for what? Flavor?
That's a special pastry fat. If you notice, it is what they call plastic at room temperature. So all it enables you to do is to apply it to the dough at room temperature without it being oily, messy, skating around the place. Okay. So what they used to do a long time, they would do it layer by layer. But then the advantage of this is that you could do your whole fat incorporation in one application. So you have one layer here, one layer of dough. Let's call it one layer of dough.
One layer.
And one layer of fat.
One layer of fat. Nothing is going to be added to this after this.
No, well, this is actually not the type of dough that pastries usually done with. This is a yeast dough. So it is raisin together with yeast, but that's what I think they call it, a biological leveling agent, yeast. In pastry, you don't need a biological leveling agent. The laminated dough is enough. The trapped air and the expansion of the air, once it goes into the heat, pushes up the dough. So when you make all those hundreds of layers, you have in each layer water that is trapped, and when the dough in the oven expands, you get all those layers separated, and when the fat melts, you have separated layers, and that gives you the flakiness in the pastry.
I am telling you, I am not going to eat a pastry the same again. And those of you who are watching, are sure after this program, you're not going to look at bread the same.
So we're going through, and you'll notice every time the dough comes through, it gets flattened a little.
So at no point in time, the fat is going to squeeze out.
No, it's not designed. It's not designed that way. It's designed to stay inside the dough. It has the same mechanical properties as dough, so it wouldn't separate. It remains together with dough. They have some. If we run out of this type of fat, what we do is we mix regular lard with flour, or you put it in the freezer to get it a little stiffer, and you send it through the dough. And that problem that you're talking about slipping out, that sometimes occur. But this is designed not to slip out.
I'm just going to say, those of you at home who are going to try to put butter in the dough, it's not going to work.
It will work if you know what you're doing. In fact, that's what was done 20, 30 years ago and hundreds of years ago. They used to use regular butter, but over the years, with understanding how a fat is composed, and well, the important thing about this is that when you taste it, it melts in your mouth. So at human blood temperature,
yes,
it melts in your mouth, so it wouldn't stay at the top of your mouth, or you have a funny taste in your mouth.
The science in food.
It's designed for the food industry.
Okay, so we're going to be right back. We're going to roll this a few more times. I think how many times we'll have to go through this process.
Well, it depends on how many layers you want.
How many layers you want? I've been hearing 200 for the evening.
This is one layer. So you have, this is the same piece of dough that we started with. All it's flat. So there's one thin layer of fat inside there. And if we fold it in half, there will be 2 layers. And I'm simply going to fold it in 4. There are 4 layers there now. And when I roll this down, they will have 4 layers inside of this. So, and I do this until I get the how many other layers I need.
So there we have it. Right now we have 4 layers. You're going to be right back with hopefully something close to 200. And then we're going to take it across to the oven, cut it up. And all the nice stuff for us to consume. Jobs. Coming right back.